So, this is it. Welcome to the live stream and the shift or the shit of perception. It's really happening. The shift and everything. And the shit is happening too. It's just amazing. The floor? Cat likes to play with these things. She's not really in the. She's not in the. You're not. No, you're. Oh, so cute. Okay. Oh, better put it on because it makes a kind of noise probably. Sorry for that. So, very welcome to the stream. I really missed it. And if you're watching for the first time, then it works like this. This is the live stream, and you can watch it, and you can also participate by sending your Skype ID. You need to have a Skype account, and then we can connect on Skype, and you can send messages there if there's something that you want to ask or anything that comes up. So you can do that through Skype. And if there's any need to speak with me live, which is possible, then we can also do that through Skype. So that's the idea. Ah, hi Maura, nice. Okay. Oh. Yeah. So this stream, I really would like to to talk about the perception of the personal dynamics in oneness, appearing in oneness, and yeah, what's actually really happening. And I think it's really beautiful to realize that we as humans are all. I'm sitting a little bit awkward. I feel I'm sitting a little bit strange, but maybe that's just. I should relax more. Wait, I'm just trying to see if I can also just sit like this. It's a little bit far. So the thing is that really every human has its own perception on whatever you are experiencing, because there is only subjective experience happening, but the objective view is that's attaining all this, that is facilitating all this, is objective and open awareness and whatever you want to call it. But since we are searching for happiness or for fulfillment, for finally coming home to your completeness, it is all very difficult to see that this is actually all very subjective, and that you can only relate to your experience, you can only relate to what you are experiencing right now, what you are experiencing any moment, whatever it is. And that can be really a challenge, but it's also when you start to see more from above, or whatever you want to say, or that you start to see things from a distance, and you start just to see that your body is moving, your thoughts are moving, your experiences are moving, your perception is moving, then it really becomes the shit of perspective. This is the shit, and it's also the shift. It's really this dynamic of the shit of life and the shift of perception, because the shit is really that you think that this is true, your life the way it is, what you are experiencing, what you have experienced, traumas, desires, frustrations, challenges, and it isn't. It really isn't, and that's just so fucking amazing, beautiful, and also so difficult at times. And so what's left is really only the vulnerability of you being as you are, a human expression, is that there's only this flow of life, and that you can trust it, that you can really trust it, even if it's heartbreaking, even if it's like tearing you completely apart, because it does at times, it does. It can be really frightening to realize, and to also to see that this is something that you can trust. Because for the perception of the mind, the perception of your experience, it usually isn't something that you can trust. Because the whole problem is usually that there is this identity, this illusion, the illusion of the identity, where I would think that I am my body, that I am my name, that I am my life, that I am my problems, that I am everything that comes up, really. But it isn't what you are, what you really are. Is really just this moment. This open moment that doesn't have any will, that doesn't have any desire. But all of these dynamics, they appear in it. And that's okay. You will have desires. You will have things, thoughts, difficult moments with yourself, being by yourself or being with others. That doesn't stop. It never stops as long as you have this body and as long as there's this dynamics of life happening. That's another illusion, to think that once you see through the illusion that this all stops. Nothing stops. The flow of life doesn't stop when you lose your identity. There is still this empty character that can take on any form, any idea, that can speak any word, or that doesn't speak, that can have any thought, because there's no division, and there has never been a division. There's really only the loss of an idea, of a concept about your life, about yourself. But then still, whether this happens or it doesn't happen, we don't know, we can't know this. This is not something that is in time. It's not an event, or even though it may appear as an event, but that still means that everything is still an energetic expression of love, of this boundless energy, no matter what your experience is. Whether you are there on the other side of the world, whether you're sleeping at night, or whether you're cycling through the rain, or having a fight with your partner, or at your work, you're having your work dynamics or discussions, confrontations, struggling with yourself, how to love yourself, how to take care of yourself, to feed and nurture and everything. It's all an energetic expression. So if you would feel like asking or sharing something here, you can definitely do this through the stream. Whoa, that makes a really big difference. You know what it is. And I've always known that, even when I was identified. I've always known this. And I'm sure there's this knowing intuitively with you too, is that there's nothing that I know more than you. There's nothing that can be known. There's nothing that you can learn or that really I can teach you on the level of oneness, on the level of the concept of non-duality. We use concepts, and I think that's a great thing. Any word that's spoken is a concept. It has it resonates. One word appeals more to you than another word. So we just use them and we experiment with them. I do, and everybody does, and we find a certain style or way to express this. And I'm experimenting a lot, and to feel what makes me feel comfortable, to make this a very comfortable way of expressing whatever that I'm sharing. So this is really an aliveness and energetic resonance between words, between an appearance, shining through all that. So it doesn't really matter whether you understand what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not saying really a lot, I think. I'm actually really not so good as a speaker. It's really an energetic transmission happening where you could remember, where you could experience a kind of, or a recognition of it. And I'm just facilitating this. I'm doing nothing else than facilitating this. And of course, I have my own experiences, my life experiences. And these life experiences are also part of the way I express myself. And that's also the same with you. You are expressing yourself in life, in your daily routines, in whatever you're doing on a daily basis, based on your experiences, on your conditioning, on whatever happened or whatever is happening. So don't think that this is just a one way stream. This is definitely a continuing stream, an ever flowing and an ever evolving stream of experience, of energetic patterns, and even of conditioning. And I think it's really beautiful. I really love the three, the dynamics of the three, you know. Of course, this is all so obvious that this is just all energy playing its part, and this is nothing that is going to last. But on the other hand, there's this experience happening, that there's the personal dynamic and the conditioning of your body and of your mind. And I notice this too. I mean, I respond also to things that I encounter in daily life, you know, like meeting someone that is being hateful or being frustrated or totally projecting something upon me, and with a lot of force, with a lot of contracted energy. And I'm just sometimes, I mean, it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. And then I just feel, whoa, it's like a slap in my face. It's really like, it really enters my energy, because I'm open to meet anybody. And I'm really like, whoa, you know, I'm unstable, I feel vulnerable, I feel hurt. Because there's this energy that can be so threatening and hurting you. But what I actually feel is this contracted energy that the person is totally projecting. It's the energy the person is experiencing. And it happens. But also my body. I mean, my body is conditioned in certain ways. And this is usually, I think, gradually you can change your bodily conditioning too, definitely through all kinds of ways of different nutrition, different routines, being more conscious about what you eat, how you move your body, how your posture is, how you interact physically among other people. But this usually takes time, and the body still has this, it's programmed, and it's it's like an imprint, something that is here, but it usually only gets when trauma has been worked on, and you have been doing research on these things. It can be that it goes to the background. It doesn't stay so prominent. It doesn't stay so strongly yeah, it's not so dominant. But when you are confronted in situations with others, with whatever, it can be that it gets touched again, gets triggered. And so that can happen as much with your emotions, your ideas, your mental how you say that, your mental convictions, your conditioning, as with your body. It's all these dynamics. And it's very challenging, and can be really hard to just stay there and just really stay there, to let it just happen, to let it happen, so that when it happens, it doesn't cling to you, as I was describing with the person that was giving me a certain look, and I felt this contracted energy. And it's interesting because the contracted energy is like it clings to you, even though you know that this is projection, even though you see that this has nothing really to do with you. All the attention goes to the, it's like the contracted energy is like a nail in the wall, you know, it's like it sticks to the nail. It's like you can't get it off. But if you just let it cling to it, it will also drop off sooner or later, but not when you are really trying to push it away, like, you know, you really don't like this feeling, you hate it, or there's another contra reaction to all that. Then usually it clings to you much longer. Hi DJ, you're asking me about the chronic stress disorder. Without getting sucked into the story. What would you like to know about that? I mean, you experience chronic stress and you are getting sucked into the story of this chronic stress. Is that it? I don't know. Well, if that is the case, I mean, you can only look at this concept of the chronic stress in the moment that you experience it, because this is just a label. This is just a label, and it's not actually what's happening continuously. I mean, it's really what society and regular healthcare and all that regular medication and treatment needs to do, to label all of life's disorders that it wants to treat, it wants to get rid of, it wants to make it normal again. And that's actually the problem in this society. We want everything to be normal, but we don't really know what normal is. So, you know, there's actually only what's happening now. And I know that's really difficult, but there is no chronic stress disorder. There really isn't. It's just an idea, a label that has been brought upon you that is limiting everything in this moment, in what you experience. So that's probably why you're experiencing this loop of the fear is that this stays and it feeds this system. So what you can do is to start to reflect on what you really feel when you feel stress, when you start to feel whatever that you're feeling. I mean, a diagnosis is so easily made by Western society. A label is so easily made, and it's happening continuously. It's getting worse. But tearing this label apart or researching this label, that's the hardest thing. And that's not only for you, DJ, but it's also for everybody. We all are diagnosed as a human that we are a certain identity. We all have this label of an identity. So the shift that can happen is that you start to see that you are not this chronic stress person. What is it that you are? What is it that is experiencing this label? That's the challenge. That's the fire of the illusion, to go through that, to see that this is not who you are. We are all condemned in this way, and some of us experience this in a very, very dense way, and some maybe less, but there's always, it just happens. It just happens with people once they grow up, when they're children, and when they start to feel, they start to feel unsafe. Actually, they start to feel that they need the other to survive this life. That's when it happens. So you could explore the way you are feeling and whether you're feeling safe or unsafe, and in which situations that happens. What does it influence? How is it being influenced? What happens really? I don't know how that feels for you. I can, I cannot say that I've been diagnosed with something like you have, but I've definitely had put labels upon me, like I'm being the introvert, I'm being the silent one, I'm being the naughty one, I'm being the victim. I guess my label was most of my life, and was not just because others were reflecting this back to me, but it was mainly because I felt it and people were reflecting this back to me, that I was really behaving as a victim. And I know for sure that this was my biggest addiction in life. I needed to feel the victim, because when I felt the victim of whatever kind of situation, then I would feel again that this is what I am. This is right. I was completely identified with a pattern that I completely absorbed from my environment, which wasn't mine, but I got it. I just got it. It just happened. It was like a present. But a present I didn't really like. I didn't really want it. Actually, I really resisted it. But in this resisting, it still happened. And even when I was in situations where there was people that just loved me and that liked me, or they wanted to help me or whatever, this pattern conditioning was so strong that I just made situations that people didn't like what I did, or that I could feel the victim. I could keep feeling the victim. But I guess if in these days, if someone would have told me, okay, maybe not even going into my psychology or my emotional feelings or patterns or whatever, but if somebody would have told me, Lee, whatever you're thinking and whatever you're doing, there's only this moment, really. So whatever you're thinking about it or feeling in it, experiencing, there's only this moment. All the rest is fiction. All the rest is imagination. I guess that would have been really mind-blowing. I guess that would really have been like a possible shift in my life, in my experience, in my contracted energy, my stuck energy. Because the stuck energy in my life was mainly happening because I was repetitively repeating thoughts about my life, that I felt so stuck, that I felt a victim, that I wanted to not feel a victim, that I wanted to get away from all this, that I wanted to really be happy, or that I wanted a partner, that the partner should love me and make me happy and fulfill me. And all these things, all the things that most humans do crave for, do long for. And it's so logical. It's so logical from the view of your identity. Because you think that it is somewhere else. You think that you can get there and that you are going to arrive somewhere, and this makes me really sad. Because I know I did this for many, many, many years. And I did this without being able to stop it. And I knew actually everything, not by me as a person, not in the personal dynamics, but I knew that there was something untouchable inside of me. But the untouchable thing is this presence. It is this moment. The moment that you really long for. The moment of the loss of all this. The loss of your identity. The moment where just everything is as it appears and nothing else. And on these moments, this moment, I wouldn't really know what to say. I just know that whatever you do and however you feel, and I say this to everyone that's watching, you are beautiful. You are beautiful and whole and perfect as you are appearing in this moment. And I know that people told me that many times, even when I had a lot of pain and I was suffering because I was so attached to my victimhood. I was so attached to the patterns, the conditioning, the repetitive thoughts, the contracted energy. I was so attached, I was so addicted to all that. But people still told me, Lee, you are beautiful. You're a beautiful being. And it made me cry. It touched me. It felt like I wasn't worth it. I felt like I can't be. But somewhere I knew it was true. Somewhere I knew that this was the truth. Even though these were also very identified people telling me this, it doesn't matter. We can all see the beauty in each other. We can, but we can't really see it within ourselves. It's easy to tell somebody else about their beauty and how you love them. But to give this to yourself, to really open up to yourself, to see that you are it. You are it in all your imperfectness, in all your contracted, frustrated, suffering experience. To receive really your your vulnerability, your not knowing what to do next, to just allow this, to allow your to allow your despair, to just allow everything that comes up. That's the most difficult. It's really funny in a way, because this allowing is like it's this open energy, and since we are so used to this dense energy and this contracted energy, that became a safety, that became the new form of love, because that's what we're used to. We're used to this contracted energy. But the safety is actually this. The safety is the openness. But that feels like a burning fire. It can feel like a, just, you can visualize this melted liquid, or gold, or some other kind of, that's just flowing, just going just right through all this. It's just breaking you apart, and that's actually what it does. This fire of truth is breaking you apart, is tearing you open, and in this breaking apart, you are whole, you are always here. There is nothing that can be lost. There is nothing that can be broken. It's just amazing. Nothing can be broken. Isn't it just fucking beautiful? You, the world, nothing can be broken. So, I can only tell you that showing yourself vulnerable is not about the world. It's not about how others perceive you. It's the way you want to be. It's the way that you are. In the end, there's only the perception of the experience. There will always be perceptions outside of you, personal dynamics, that have ideas, that have convictions and judgments, but it's not about you. It's never about you. It's only about the illusion, the identity, the identification with their struggles. It has nothing to do with you. Nothing. So this vulnerability that you are, allow it to rise, allow it to be, because you're doing it just for yourself. You're only doing this for yourself, for nobody else. But of course, this is always the tricky and the funny part. There's always, once you do something for yourself, you do something for another, because that's the joke. There is nobody else. There is only this moment, and everything that you perceive, everything that you experience is not yours, but it's all in one. That's why we recognize stories, we recognize trauma, we recognize anything, really. Even if it is something we find unpleasant, or we get a feeling of I want to stay far from this, there is a recognition. The recognition is beyond liking or unliking, disliking. Recognition is beyond acceptance or unacceptance. So, if there's any people still with something, you can write to me at the Skype Lee Hogenberg 72 if you're not already on it. Amazing. You know, I just want to tell something that's for me something I experience every day actually, and also every week when I want to do the live stream. It is that I never know really what I'm going to say. I never know how I'm going to share this with you. I have all these ideas, I have all this inspiration, but it always comes out differently. And it's always good in a way. It has always something that I think has a certain value for others because of this recognition, because of this energetic transmission, or whatever you want to call it. And it's so insecure. Life is so insecure and it's so delicate. It's so fragile and so beautiful in it. And I know that everything is possible. And I really feel when I speak, like tonight, I feel this is just so beautiful, and it's touching my heart and it's touching me no matter what. It's not about the outcome, it's not about the result, but I just know that there is this resonance. But every moment it's insecure, every moment it's unknown, and I just love it. I love it. It's this delicacy. No, not delicacy. I mean this delicate fragility that is that is just happening. Okay, well, oops. Okay, this was it for tonight. And yeah, it was a beautiful night tonight. Beautiful stream. I really loved it. And hopefully we see each other next week. I'm looking forward already. Thank you and much love to all of you.